G'day everyone, T-Nick back here again in Transport Fever. You join us just outside Austin as we watch one of our brand new trains. Well, it's actually probably an old train that's been brand new extended. That doesn't have the same ring to it. But yeah, our brand new route down here to Austin. So he is departing across that super impressive bridge that we built last time. God, I do love a good bridge. And it makes me think, what are we going to do today? How do we top the success of last time? Well, after a bit of soul searching, I will link up Austin and Sioux Falls. That highway there makes me nervous, and you know, I want to future-proof the business as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and throw down a third platform here at Austin, because obviously these two tracks will eventually be going down to Moreno Valley, or even just straight to Cincinnati. I'm not even sure which way this line's going to go yet. But yeah, having a connection down to Sioux Falls, I think, will help us in the long run, even if it doesn't really pay off to begin with. In fact, we'll probably just extend this line around to terminate at Austin here. So let's go ahead and get a third platform in there at reasonable expense. What's that, 185? Yeah, that'll do. We got money to burn. Now, looking at the contours, though, this is going to be some sort of hill route, possibly involving, you know, a lot of hill. So I'm glad we built the station where we did, because it means we can tackle it sort of head on. That was sarcasm, in case you couldn't tell. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an easy way to get down this hill, and I'm not sure if we should start building up from the bottom or down from the top. Probably easy to build up from the bottom, because we can get a handle on how much hill we're able to climb, whereas if we build down from the top, we might end up sort of here and have to have a real steep incline just to get down that last little bit. So Sioux Falls, we will also expand to have a second platform, because obviously we will need to pass trains here. But yeah, let's see what we're looking at here. If we start climbing, well, let's see, we've already got to climb out of where the station is, so that's not a problem. But if we sort of spitball this, if we decide we want to build just right up to Austin, Austin's over there, dum-dum. If we decide we want to build right over to Austin, it's going to suggest probably a bridge there. What happens if I do that? Yeah, one heck of a bridge there, one heck of a tunnel there, some sort of level crossing there, and a cutting here. So it looks easier than expected, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge for our engineers. So I might actually back this track off a bit and sort of head towards where that tunnel was going to be built. And instead of a bridge over this road, we'll just go with a level crossing for now. So if we can get this to start climbing like that, we can then figure out the best place for our level crossing. We figure out that it's not there, because that looks really stupid. What if we put it in here where it's still reasonably flat? Yeah, that seems to be workable. And we'll just run the road around like that. It's like we never even bulldozed the road to put something in. So what I'm wondering is if we can get sort of a tunnel going through here and then bridge across this road up here. So again, we'll have to sort of drag the tracks back a little bit. I had to overbuild to sort of get to where we needed to get to. So it's not too keen on putting the tunnel in until we really get across the road there. And even then, it's only sort of an option. We'll have to... I wonder if it's worth actually removing the road here. And by wonder, I mean I'm doing it. And sort of rebuilding it at a lower level, so that it forces a bridge over it. Yeah, we might have to back it. No, I don't want to put a tunnel in. Gosh, that seems a great expense to go for a highway that we actually want to bypass with our train anyway. So if we do this and sort of drop it down a bit, we end up in a bit of a cutting. So it's not exactly cheap, but it should make it easier for the railway line to bridge across it without actually having to go up too much of a hump itself. So is that gonna offer me, what's that gonna offer me in the way of a bridge? It's going to offer me a big load of nothing. Okay, so that's off to a good start. What if we were to try and come out to about here? So it's got the tunnel. Okay, so it's either a tunnel or a bridge. And in this case, I'm inclined to go for a bridge because that looks really freaking cool. That looks really, really freaking cool, actually. That looks less cool. Yeah, the having only one supporting pillar doesn't make it look as good as it could. If we do that, no, it's still got one pillar. If we do that, it's got a pillar in the middle of the road, so that's not an option. If we do that, yeah, okay. We might have to take a bit more care and consideration as we do this. So if you could come up the hill, I know that's quite a steep bit, but hopefully that'll be the steepest section we have. And then if I could get you to sort of come through about here, maybe? Is that gonna be a thing? Yeah, what if we put it through there, maybe? Oh, here we go. Now we're talking bridges. Whoa, yes, I like the wooden bridge and I'm committing to it. Literally zero thought. In fact, that's not actually a straight bridge. And I like my bridges to be straight because, I don't know, it just looks cool. And we left a bit of track behind, so whoops-a-daisy. Now let's make sure that snaps to being straight. That seems to be pretty good. And it's pretty flat too. Is that straight or is it still on a curve? It looks straight enough to me. Good, second time's the charm. Not counting all the other sort of attempts we made. So smooth out, yeah, where the road used to be as well. That looks all right there. So we should probably keep on building up the hill. Now, this will be a challenge. So how are we going to go about this? We want to go over there. We don't want to go through this mountain. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's probably not ideal. Let's see. That's gonna put in a hill. So what if we back it back to the bridge? Because the bridge itself, not a problem with that. Here we go. Now we're talking. So we get a bit of a curve, bit of a hill here, and we should be able to... Well, that's a far smaller cutting than I expected. I was expecting far worse. And then we should be able to stay roughly on this contour line. Yeah, so obviously we won't have that kind of a curve there because that requires unnecessary embankmentization. That's a word now. Embankmentization is to put an embankment in where you didn't want to embankment. So if we run this around here, we are still doing a bit of earthworks, but not as bad as if we just had the big wide curve in. And that connects up nice and smooth. You know, all said and done, I don't think that's actually that bad of a line. We've got a few steep grades in here, like the climb up to the bridge. But the bridge itself, does that have a hump in it? I'm going to allow it, because I'm afraid if I remove the bridge and rebuild it, it won't work as perfectly next time. But yeah, I like the wooden bridge there for the sort of the rustic branch line feel that we've got going on. Yeah, in fact, I might question whether I extend this line up to Austin or just run a shuttle back and forth. Because if we run a shuttle, we can keep it single track forever. But if we sort of try and run the river line up, it might get a bit busier, and we might lose that sort of branch line atmosphere. Yeah. You know what? Let's just go with it and see what happens in the future. We'll put in a couple of sets of points down here for Sioux Falls' newest train station, well, newest platform rather. And I will try and put a passing loop on this hill somewhere. It's going to be challenging though. I'm thinking here we have to sort of squeeze one in. Which side are we going to want to put our second track on? Probably on the inside here. So yeah, if we can sort of squidge a set of points in here reasonably neatly. Yeah, 44 k's an hour isn't great, but it'll have to do. It'll only be a short loop because, well, we're probably only going to run short trains on this line. But yeah, hopefully that gets the job done without too much fuss. Now, I'd like to build a signal, but a certain autosave is preventing that. It's okay. We're good now, but, you know, just you've been warned. Because, yeah, you know, we're moving towards getting extra trains on this line. The longer we make the line, the less efficient our single train's going to be. And look, it's not his fault he's single. We'll find him a partner soon. I'll put the other signal in on this side of the bridge just to save trains queuing on the bridge and looking funny. So down the hill we come. We'll need to put a couple of signals in down at Sioux Falls as well. Now the line's going to have a conniption because, of course, I've tried to make it turn around on a platform with a one-way signal, so it's going to have a pink fit. So after Sioux Falls, it goes to Fort Collins. So after Fort Collins, it comes back to Sioux Falls. I know a station appears consecutively twice, but I need to send it up to Austin. And it's automatically made itself happy. Look at that. Oh, what a clever line you are. So how are we going with the frequency? That's not where I can see the frequency. That's not it either. Click on the right line, you dummy. So no, that's balance. I automatically go there because I hate seeing things in the red. That's not how we're going to find it. Well, what do we call it? The river line. So there it is. Frequency of 67 minutes. So not even a train an hour on this line. You know, that might have flown back in 1892, but now that we're in 1894, whoa, no, we are not putting up with that. No, sirree, Bob. Don't know who Bob is. But no, we're not putting up with it. Did I finish signalling down here? I didn't really. I sort of phoned it in. Which is not like me at all. Not at all. Not like me in the slightest. We'll also need passing loops on these lines between Plano and Moreno Valley, and between Moreno Valley and Fort Collins. So, where are we going to put the first one in? We've got this this issue with the terrain here. So I'm thinking this side of the terrain would be the best place to throw it down. I hope this is the side I wanted to put the double track on because, well, that's where the loop's been put. So everyone remind me, we're putting the passing loops on the right-hand side of the running line. Right-hand side. I can remember that because I need to come up with some sort of way to remember that. Right-hand man, there we go. My right-hand man is my bank manager, I guess, and so I need my track on the right-hand side. That's a really hopeless way to remember things, and I immediately feel awful for inflicting that upon you, rather. So I'll throw another passing loop here, right-hand side. Might not have been the little thing about the bank manager, but I remember it was on the right-hand side. Yeah. And we definitely want to merge back in before the tunnel because we don't want to go to the expense of, what are you trying to do there? We definitely don't want to pay for a double-track tunnel at this stage. So we'll one-way that fella. And we will need to put a one-way in up the other end. Yeah, so there, I'll drop one in there just in case. One-way U, and we'll put a one-way signal in protecting the points. Not a one-way signal, rather. We'll put just a home stick in there protecting the points for trains going this way. And then after Plano, I'm pretty sure we double-tracked that bitch. Yeah, we did. Double-track all the way to Mesquite. So where is our turnaround train? There he is. He's literally as far away from Austin as he can get. How'd you go on your... Are you losing money? You are. Well, rather, you're showing that you're losing money. Wow, you're still running empty. I reckon it's got to be something to do with the frequency on this line. Because surely people from Moreno Valley or Fort Collins are going to want to catch the train eventually, right? Get rid of the contours. Is anyone opting to take the train? No one for the River Line. Right, that's not a good start. No one for the River Line. Okay, that's an auspicious continuation. No one for the River Line. That's a further continuation of auspiciousness. Sioux Falls. No one. But look, there's someone at the bus stop. Where are you trying to go? Well, there's two people at the bus stop. No, I don't want to look at the route. I want to look at where you're going. No, I don't want to click on the factory. Are you waiting for the bus? Okay, where do you live? You live in Sioux Falls. Well, you're no good to me. Where was that other person? Who are you? You want to go home. Where's home? Home is also in Sioux Falls. In fact, you live together. Well, at least the local passenger routes are getting some use within the town. That's something, but I'd prefer it if people actually waited for the train for that line, because I don't want to put another train on if it's just going to hemorrhage money, but I don't want to put another... I don't want to not put another train off if the frequency is going to be an hour. That's quite awful. Tell you what we need to do is give people a reason to go to these towns. So Austin will make, I guess, a shopping precinct, so we'll need some consumer goods there. Where can we make a sort of industrial heartland? In fact, we've got the opportunity here. We've got gravel. We've got a railway line, we've got a construction materials plant. So we can quite easily run gravel down this existing line over to the construction materials plant and then road haul the results into Fort Collins. In fact, we could actually do it up here because we'll have access to this gravel as well. This one here does give us a bit more room to play with. This one, although this one is already on an existing line. I guess it's much for muchness, really. More to the point, whatever steel mill we end up using, possibly this one, we'll be able to send the slag there, and we can do that with either of them. In fact, this one here will require some sort of cool Y-junction to be built down here. So I'm going to go with this one, because... Actually, you know what? If we go with this one, we may as well build the line to Midland and use this quarry, because then we're building a new line to Midland as well. Yeah, do we want to have this train go to Midland? Come up through Moreno Valley, Cape Coral, and then over to Midland? Or just through Moreno Valley and then up to Midland that way? Oh, there's options. I do like options. How would you get from Fort Collins to Midland then? You'd have to change at Moreno Valley, which would be kind of stupid. Right, okay. Need to put a bit more thought into this. Unless we just had a shuttle train chuffing back and forth between Fort Collins and Midland, that would also be an option. Because Midland, it definitely looks like it'll be a terminus for something because, well, it's sort of surrounded by mountains, making it very inhospitable to build in. And it's also going to be sort of tricky to access from anything but Fort Collins and Cape Coral. Even Cape Coral's probably pushing the Friendship. Yeah, so having a look at it, what I reckon we'll do is we'll run from this quarry here down to this construction materials plant because it's a straight shot into Fort Collins by road. If we were to run from this one, we'd have to come all the way up and around, or we'd have to build another bridge, and well, that just adds expense to something we don't want to add expense to. That should work for a short-term solution, and we can come up with a more longer-term solution later. And that'll also help Fort Collins become a bit more of an industrial heartland, which will hopefully attract workers from Merino Valley and Sioux Falls. So, what are we going to do? We're going to need to put a truck stop down in here first that catches the industrial area. It does have a very small industrial area, so it should be possible to promote some good growth there. So I'll start by dropping that in here because it gives us a route round and out of town. And then we will also drop a truck stop in up here at the... Let's actually have a look at where our contours are, because I don't want to waste the good railway building land on a truck stop. Let's try and shoehorn him in there because that's a reasonable spot to build. That gets him access to the quarry, and we can put our train line here and then sort of snake up through the hills. Now, as with the three basic chains that I discussed at the start of the series, stone to brick, brick to town, what is the other one there? Oil to fuel, fuel to town. Oh, there's an option, or we could come back through Merino Valley. No, that was a good one. Or the third one is obviously cattle to food, and food to town, or food to town, or food to town, or whatever. The only one that doesn't use the same rolling stock, well, grain to food, food to town doesn't either, but you know, you've got cattle at the farm, so you don't really need to. But yeah, the only one that doesn't use the same rolling stock is stone to brickworks. So if we run a stone train here, he has to run back empty unless we chuck some brick wagons on, which he's just going to have to pull them up this big ass hill here to Midland. So we'll probably avoid that. But we'll go ahead and throw down a decent sized station here just in case we want to take the bricks somewhere else. This may end up being our construction materials source for Boston, because of course, as I said, I want to get every type of goods coming into at least Boston, if not some of the other towns on the map. So we've got plenty of flat land here, so we'll go 240 meters just in case, just to sort of future-proof it. It's nice and flat here, so we can quite easily chuck down we'll start with 2 tracks for now, because obviously one track will be needed for the stone, and the other track for future construction material trains to Boston and anywhere else that we decide to deliver. In fact, we might even, when we set that up, we might run it as a train to Fort Collins and bugger the trucks off. I don't really know. But that decision is still in the future, because we've got a heckin' great big hill to climb up. And wow, what a hill that is too. So yeah, let's just get about starting off with a bit of a curve here, and we'll have this track join up here because we can. So I'm sort of identifying this little narrow pass here to come up. It also takes us past a sawmill, and we've got a forest on the other side of Midland there. So that's also a potential. Whoa, that escalated quickly. Like literally, that went uphill really quickly. So if we want to come up at it a bit more of an angle, that's actually saying it's flat, but I think it is slowly climbing. We'll probably end up taking a gouge out of the landscape here. Maybe not. Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a cutting to try and keep the hill down, but I'm okay with that because I don't want to climb too steeply if we do end up running any sort of goods train up here. Now, here we go. I've seen an option to put a tunnel in to try and mitigate the grade, because if we don't go through the tunnel, you can see the arrow. Well, the arrow was before going quite steep, but if we sort of dig through the hill a bit, there we go. See, quite steep, less steep, quite steep. Oh, hold on, quite steep, less steep. We can have a nice short tunnel if we can have just a cutting if we go there, but I do like the idea of the tunnel. I know it's expensive, but it just looks cool, and it's a hill climbing route, so tunnels are acceptable and encouraged. So that's the sawmill there, so we want to sort of come around and snap to the road, I guess. We'll sort of skirt the corner a bit. And there's the quarry there, so how are we going to have to drop down from here to get to the quarry? I think so. We may need a loco with some power to get the trains up out of this quarry siding. Yeah, see, there you go. We're dropping downhill again to get into the quarry. So that's not ideal. It's not what I would have wanted. So we'll go with a shorter station here because, yeah, I want to resist the urge to overload this train and have it trying to climb up the hill with too many loaded stone wagons. Because obviously that would slow the train down and be bad, especially if we do get this passenger train going. And Construction 101, that's not how you join two tracks. Just making that suggestion to myself. You know, should I ever question it in the future? So that's easy. That's our line setup. It is completely isolated at this point. Where is the nearest depot? And I built one down here at, not Merino Valley, at Plano, and it is pointing the wrong way. Good stuff. So we might end up having to build another depot up in the Midland area because, well, reasons. In fact, we'll actually tweak the track so that it actually goes to Midland now so we can avoid any fussing about once we've got trains running. So connect that track up like that and then just join you up with a set of points there. That looks a lot neater than what I would have proposed. Now, Midland. Eventually, I imagine we'll have a train running through this cutting. And by eventually, I mean that's way in the future. In fact, we could have a really cool mountain railway over to Visalia. So I'll have to build the station in such a way that it can accept trains from either direction. So does that mean we build a terminus station? No, we'll go with a through station. Because, yeah, then we can access it from both directions, even though, you know, that won't be really necessary at first. What's our distribution line? We've got all the residential down here, so maybe we do have a terminus station and that line can just swing around there and this line can come in. Because we can access both the commercial and residential with hopefully only one building being removed. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. Let's just sort of straighten it up a smidge. What if we want two platforms? Still do it with one building. Okay, so if we put it here, say, or even, no, what if we attach to the road? No, we can't attach to the road. We can, however, put it here. We can put a second street connection, no? Yes. So here we go. We can really get some good town coverage if we build it like this. So drop that in like that. We've committed. We've knocked a building down to do so. So you damn skippy, we're committed. Put a bit of a road in there. And then we'll have to sort of extend this street out like this and this one up here. So that means as the town grows, hopefully it'll grow around this area here, which means that, you know, we'll get a far bigger catchment area. I mean, you can see we've already caught most of the town as it is. It does mean, though, that having a city circle bus up in this area will be slightly more difficult. So we might have to build it down around this way and just hope it doesn't just completely lose money. In fact, their roads are actually quite well set up. Anyway, we just have to make a few connections to facilitate a sort of a circle route coming around here. So that's actually not too bad. Now the first track we'll have joining up to that one. Is that the correct one? It is. Good. We will join this siding up again here, if only for depot access, because I will be putting a second track around like this. Well, I would if the road would play ball. If we put it around like this, just in case the town does start to expand, and then we'll put a Y junction in here. Can we? What if we put it down as a second track? No, that's not going to really work, is it? We'll have to sort of come off like this. That's not too bad there, and have that sort of join up like that. And then, of course, we've got to build a depot somewhere in all this mess. In fact, let's build the depot out here to give the Y junction some sort of a purpose. You know, so it's not lying awake at night going, why was I built? What is my reason for being? And we can always just chuck some surplus rolling stock on. Well, that'll join up all the way up to those points there. That's actually kind of useful. So I've got this cute little Y junction here, bit of a siding here. We'll make it rusty track. No, construction not possible. Okay, we can make it rusty track. There we go. And we'll just drop down the obligatory scenery that I love to do so much. I'll chuck the water tower down on this side. And what are we hauling up here? We're hauling sort of stone, so we'll chuck down some spare open wagons. And they're completely free too, so that's okay. Yeah, it doesn't cost us anything. Just hope the handbrakes have been left on. But that's our nice little, what town are we at? Midland Depot scene. Bugger that off. And we've actually got a passenger station. So when we do connect this up to the rest of the network, we can run a passenger train from, I'm going to say, Fort Collins. Maybe this is what we do. Maybe we run the train from Austin to Midland, and the river line just terminates at Fort Collins. That's a thought, because it would help us free up a bit of frequency on this line without having to run too many trains. I don't like doubling up, so I wouldn't run two different lines all the way up to Austin, because then people have to choose between the two lines. But no, stop yakking and start building a bloody train. Where'd that depot go? There it is. It's up there. Good. So build a new line from here, Midland Branch, to Upper Fort Collins. Sure. And we will call this Stone. And where is this coming from? This is coming from Mid. I don't know how to extend that to a fourth letter. Let's just call it Mid. Mid to Fort Col. Now, see, I want to put more letters in there, so we'll just call it F Col, or just maybe Col. Not cool. It is cool, but yeah, Mid to Col. That'll do. That way we can identify it in the future. We will immediately forget and come up with a new abbreviation next time we build a line in this area, I have little doubt. Didn't put any signals down, which is probably not a problem in the short term, but I should probably drop a couple down in the long term, just in case. I realise the station has its own inbuilt signals, but just in case we run passenger trains and we don't want to build a bypass track around the station, I suppose. Maybe I'm half-heartedly justifying. Now, as we have a bit of a grade out of the quarry there, the choice comes down to the Baldwin. What have we got? We've got these European engines. Now, I've been staying away from European engines where possible, but if they're going to offer us better value for money, he is slower, 160 kilowatts as opposed to 284, so can't hold a candle. Now, the tank engine should have a really good power. Yeah, see, 290, but a top speed of only 40, so that sort of rules him out. The Mogul, I reckon, is going to be a bit expensive for this run. He does have 400 kilowatts, but it's not that much of a hill. The Baldwin definitely has the pulling power. 70 tractive effort as opposed to only 80 tractive effort, so not much of an increase for another 300 grand, and that's a passenger loco we won't even look at. So we'll go with the Baldwin, and we'll go with the gondola. Let's see, how big do we build that station? I think it was 160 metres, so 70 capacity will do just fine, and we will send you out on Stone Mid to Col, and obligatory departure shot will be observed. I don't mean to upset anyone, but it appears our sand tower is floating. So, no, I don't want to do that. I want to see if I can fix that. Yeah, let's just adjust the landscape a bit and see if that's... Okay, it's floating, but slightly less than it was. So, I can live with that. Also, bye train. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Now, there's no point running stone down to the construction material factory, the brickworks, unless we actually get some trucks. So we've got the Cannstatt or the steam lorry. Again, because I've got both European and American vehicles available, the steam lorry and the Cannstatt are sort of the equivalent, but the Cannstatt sort of dumps all over the steam lorry in every regard, so we'll just go with them. And in fact, we haven't actually set a line, so we'll have to buy, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, but we'll have to set a line up first before we can send them out. So from here, with this ugly yellow colour, down to here, and we'll call this Fort Collins Brickworks Delivery, just in case we run other freight in and have a separate delivery system for that. Of course, we could always just run other freight up here and hijack the same truck route if we wanted to. So all those guys in Fort Collins Road Vehicle Depot can now chuff off on the Fort Collins Brickworks Delivery. Now, hopefully that will give Fort Collins a boost to its industrial sector, which will then encourage people to commute in from these surrounding towns and maybe even Midland in the future. Because I'm still pondering how to connect Midland up to the rest of the network. Do we just keep it as a branch line? Maybe run it up from Austin. So if you are traveling from Boston to Midland, I don't know if people would, they can change at Austin and get the train down like that. Or do we run this line that we've got now up into Merino Valley and then up to Midland? But it would make things difficult for people going from Fort Collins and Sioux Falls, unless we sort of built another station out here and had a bus connection. At this stage, I'm leaning towards making the river line terminate at Fort Collins and instead having a train go from Austin to Midland and back again. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it. So we'll go ahead and throw a third platform down at Fort Collins. Although, actually, no, they're not going to be terribly busy lines, so we can probably get away with just having them turn around on the platform, like this chappie's doing. I mean, he's obviously going to keep going. Still completely empty. Have you transported anyone yet? No, you're running empty every which way. That is a serious concern, and one we will need to rectify. Hold on, we've got people waiting at the bus stop, not the train station. Yes, of course you are. And no one waiting there for the river line either. Yeah, we've got to do something about this river line. So what I'm going to do is executive decision time. Once you get clear of the points, I'm going to turn you around, and we're going to be removing Austin from this line and putting the Midland line in instead from Austin. And we'll let the chips fall where they may. So we'll delete Austin. Which one are you going to? You're going to Sioux Falls down the bottom, so we'll delete Sioux Falls. We'll turn you around. We'll delete... Yeah, I know you're whistling because you're upset. Okay, so you can't get from... Oh, because you're trying to go through platform 1. Try 2. Okay, you're still going to whistle and have a pink fit, but I'm hoping you can figure out where you're going now. I'm sorry to mess with your orders again after I just had them all bedded in. So you should be happy now. You're trying to get to Fort Collins. Oh, you've succeeded. Okay, good. I thought you might have a bit of an issue because, well, you know, we did go ahead and put all these one-way signals in, didn't we? With the intention that trains wouldn't be turning around there, but they actually are. So we'll put a two-way signal in here just to facilitate that a bit better. And we will get about building this new train up to Midland. Whoop, take it off hyperspeed, please. Yeah, so we'll get this new train to Midland going as a replacement for the line from Austin to Fort Collins. That should help things out significantly. So to start that line, we'll have to start at this junction here. It's a good thing we already put the track in because can we back it off back to the... No, we'll have to remove the points as well. Yeah, we'll keep it the way it is. We'll just have to sort of curve a bit sharply to... You know what? This road's just causing more harm than good. So we'll just sort of have to curve it a bit more sharply than I would have liked to get it around to that brickworks there so we can start climbing the hill. Yeah, it's all pretty much dead flat down here. But that's good. That gives us a position to get the bricks flowing into the rest of the network as well. So something is complaining up the top there. I'm hoping it's just a missing street connection that is now going to go away. It is good. I thought maybe we had a train running out of order or out of whack or out of something. Out of line, I guess you'd say. So run that up there, and we'll need to go past the station. Can we get it to snap straight? We can. Keep it straight, please. There we go. Now we need to sort of join up to this line, preferably before it starts its climb. How's that going to go? Is that going to be an ugly junction? No, that's actually quite nice. Quite smooth. Although, no, we've got a bit of a kink in here, so I think we can do better. Never settle for second best. Unless you have to, in which case, you know, do whatever. That's probably too close to make a proper junction, so let's in fact actually divert the main line down this way and have this line coming off at a junction. So if we have a weird kink in the track like that, that's still ugly, I don't like it. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Let's just sort of run with it. No, we'll actually need to put the track in here first and then bring it around like that. And then just sort of quickly join up here. And everyone is happy again because obviously I interrupted Sammy the Stone Train, who is still quite happily loading stone. We couldn't be bothered cleaning the coal out of the wagons before we sent them on their way, but you know, what are you going to do? How are you doing? 29 of 35 in your stone wagons, and we've still got plenty of capacity in the coal ones. So that's having a whale of a time there. What are you talking about? You have nothing to offer me? No upgrade or downgrade schedule. I thought it was going to suggest maybe you should move more stone. Well, I'm trying to deliver more stone, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, that's sorted out a reason for Fort Collins to exist. Now we've just got to correct our train, well, set up our train rather, from Midland to Austin via Fort Collins. So we'll go about that. Oh, a nice dark green colour for this one. So first stop Midland, then come down through Fort Collins, please. On to Sioux Falls, up to Austin on that funky new line we've just built and really made no money off. And back through Fort Collins, please. And now that should be a-okay. We'll have to throw some signals down, but the line itself seems solid. What are we going to call this? We're sort of in the south... what are we? If that's north, we're sort of in the southwest corner of the map. So we'll call it the... I guess we'll call it the southwestern... Western... line. Oh, no, branch. For now. And if a better name becomes apparent, we will swoop on it like an eagle swoops on a defenseless rabbit or whatever eagles eat. Rabbit, mice, people. Do eagles eat people? I imagine they would if they could. So we're putting signals down up here to help separate our trains a bit better. So we'll start by popping a couple in like that, which means we can get rid of these signals down here because we have no need for them. Glad I went to all the effort to build them. Are we going to have issues with trains passing on this hill? Probably. And of course, the center of the single track section, between the two signals, is right smack bang where the bloody tunnel is. Thankfully, we're not trying to run loaded trains up this hill yet. So if we, road vehicle 93, oh no, little do I care. Yeah, so thankfully we're not running loaded trains up this hill, so it doesn't really matter about stopping them on the grade, but we will keep a nice short loop in there just to hopefully keep things moving. So we'll throw those signals down like that. I'll throw this fella down there and this fella down here, and we'll make the loop signals one way if they would be so kind. Yes and yes. Now hopefully everyone's adapted. Yep, everyone's going around. Up here with autosave. Nope, you do your thing. Protecting me from computer crashes since whenever I started playing this game. We'll drop a signal down here on the main line just in case. Oh, here we go. It seems he gave up waiting for a full load and just decided to hell with it. I'm going now. Oh well, good for you. You'll hopefully make a bit of money from that load of stone. And keep high production upgrade in 7 months. Well, there we go. We'll soon be running with a full train with no problems. But yeah, so make sure we've come into the right platform. Yeah, Midland we have. So the next step is to look at trains for this line. Now, I don't expect this will be a terribly profitable line, so we'll stick with the general, and we'll just stick with, 1, 2, 3, 4 carriages for now. Because, yeah, again, not really going to be a... Did I call that Southwestern or Western branch? Western branch. Yeah, good work, me. Yeah, typos 101. So you will initially come into the wrong platform, I imagine. Oh no, you're going to be clever about it and just go straight to Fort Collins because yeah, if you come out of the depot in here, you're going to come into the wrong platform, which is not something I'm terribly proud of. So I might put a set of points in there just in case that ever happens in the future. And hopefully, off you go. Now, we'll set up a local passenger network in Midland as well, just to make sure that we're capturing the entire town. So we'll put down probably 4 bus stops, I guess. That should be all we need to make sure we capture everyone. I'll deal with those road vehicles in a second. And again, we'll put the depot on the outskirts of town so that we're not really sort of impeding on town growth. And we'll just put in a typical city circle sort of configuration around like that, just the 4 stops. And that's the Midland. No, I cannot type Midland or any of its line routes today. City circle. There we go. Good. That is off to a good start. And we'll roll out the obligatory land roarers. We'll go 4. That'll do. Set line to... should be down here somewhere. M for Midland. There it is. Midland City Circle, please. Off you go. Wasp your way out. Now, of course, naturally, because the stone train has just left, the passenger train is immediately going to be held up by it. Good timing on my part. So... oh, no, never mind. Good timing on my part indeed. He's off. But yeah, as you can see, we do have a bit of a hill up to where the tunnel is to begin the descent. So I'm glad we've put a Baldwin on that route. Although he seems to have had no problems getting his train moving. He's now racing downhill at max speed. And should be making his first delivery, which means that... oh, the trucks have naffed off, haven't they? Come back, guys. I promise I've got freight for you. Please come back. Wow, we're up to 156. That's a lot of road vehicles. That's not what I wanted to click on. I wanted to find out where our old road vehicles are. They are all on Nashville deliveries, and it looks like Nashville City Circle and Ventura City Circle are going to come due for replacement soon as well, so we may as well do all of them. We'll replace you with Land Rawers, whatever the hell they're called. Nashville deliveries, you should be your trucks, so we'll replace you with... we can replace you with the Cumstadt. Yes, off you go. And this city circle here is a bus, so we'll replace you with the Land Rower. Here we go. We've got our first stone delivery being made, and we've got some trucks coming back to pick it up. Cha-ching! 161 grand. Well, that's not to be sneezed at. Yeah, bugger off road vehicle 33. I'm pretty sure I fixed you. Oh, there we go. He's actually making a profit so far this year. Granted, it is the start of February, but, you know, take what victories you can get, I believe. So these guys have already got their first lot of bricks waiting. And hopefully, Fort Collins is going to get the message and start increasing its jobs here. I'm not sure what that's out of. I'm not sure if that's jobs or if that's... Oh, no, it's probably cargo delivered. So jobs 128, and that's percentage of cargo delivered, yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, the other trucks are coming back empty-handed, just as a show of strength to say, hey, we got this. Well, actually, you don't got nothing. So, good for you. We do have this sawmill here, we have this forest here, and we've actually got access to a factory here. I don't generally take planks to machine shops because, well, they make tools and machines. And in the 1900s, I don't particularly want to buy a wooden car. Just saying. Plus, it requires 2 lots of planks to actually do anything as opposed to 1 steel or 1 steel and 1 plastic. So, generally prefer to take the steel there. I will take steel to a factory, though, because, as you can see, it's 1 planks and 1 steel or 1 planks and 1 plastic to make goods. So, as long as you've got a ready supply of planks going to the factories, you don't really have an issue. But another thing we can do for Fort Collins is we can run some oil down here to turn into fuel, and we can run the fuel into Fort Collins as well. We can do that by truck as well. We've got a conveniently placed road down here. We could also drop it off back here from Moreno Valley if we wanted to try and get some industrial jobs going here. I sort of see this river area as a bit of an industrial heartland. Oh, we've also got this. Actually, we might look at running the oil over here, turning it into fuel to boost Plano up as a destination. Because we've also got oil up here we could always run down on one of our lines. If we needed to. So, yeah, that's a couple of options we've got open to us. So how are we doing? Are people actually using the new line yet? No. Look at Sioux Falls. No. Fort Collins. No one's using any lines. How about Moreno Valley? We've got 2 people going to Plano. Oh, thank God. Someone's actually going to catch our train. Have we affected the frequency of that line? No, I had it right the first time. What do we call it? The river line. Frequency is down to 45 minutes. So not great, but better than nothing. I'm more inclined to boost the frequency of it if people are actually going to start using it. Southwestern Branch has a frequency of 40 minutes as well. So, you know. And what's losing money? The river line and the Southwestern Branch, obviously. Stone line, well, he's still bedding in. Brickworks delivery, bedding in. Boston North Local, well, we never expected that to make money. A few of the city circles. Oh, Nashville deliveries. Why are you losing money? Nashville should be quite desirable. Is it because we don't have enough freight coming in? That's a possibility. We might need to try and up the fuel delivery to Nashville, because I don't want that losing money. That's been a good line. Yeah, 8%. We can afford to run more fuel in there. In fact, we can actually get that extra train we've threatened to put on this line. So we'll find one of the existing trains so I can remember what it looks like. There's one. So it's the full length of the station, so it should be about 160 metres of train, and it should have a Baldwin on the front. So we'll go with another Baldwin, and we'll go with some tank cars up to 160 metres. What's that? 158. That'll do wonderfully. Total capacity of 105. Don't make me do maths. What's that? 50. That's 60, 70. Yeah, that's 105 there. Good. So you are the crude oil fuel Gain Clum Nash line, please. And where would you like to go first? Delete to close all the windows. Here we go. Let's get our departure shot. Get it lined up here so we can see everything. Where's the sun? The sun is on this side. Train 9? No, not train 9. There's a bit of a hump as they leave the depot there, isn't there? Look at that. And sort of bump bump. We should probably deal with train 9 before that depot closes the doors on our last wagon. There you go. Now you can't see it. Ignorance is bliss. Although that doesn't show me train, so we'll just put it up. Oh, damn it! I didn't hide it in time. Oh, gotta hide my shame. So let's look at age. So road vehicle 92 and 96, they should be coming due for replacement already. Yes, they're getting replaced. So where's train 9? Train 9, Eastern Suburbs line. What? Oh my god, you are getting old. Look at you, you poor rusty old thing. I thought the Eastern Suburbs line we put a mogul on. Maybe we put we put a second train on and that happened to be a mogul. Is the mogul actually making any money? It is actually. It's not making a lot of money, but it's it's bringing the cash in. So I'm willing to replace you with a mogul as well. In fact, we'll actually build one at the depot and send it out. How many carriages did that mogul have, by the way? That's not how we find that out. Vehicles, he had 4 carriages. Okay, so let's just go with more of the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, the Clerestories, and send you out on the Eastern Suburbs line. And then we will retire this poor old girl. Hey, we missed the cross between the freight train. No, he's looking a bit rusty and dirty. I don't know why it doesn't occur to us to wash our old trains. We just sort of let them languish in their filth. He's carrying a full load of people down here to Orange, and oh wow, hello. We may have underestimated how much 4 carriages is going to do for us. We might be looking at a third train here because you've got a capacity of 64. And how many people are waiting to go to Boston? 45. Okay, well, the other way, 95. That's where the problem is. And we're not going to help things because the train coming in is going to get sent to the depot as soon as it cashes in, which is kind of disappointing. So we'll tweak the screen around so we can... What is that noise? Oh, it's the Kamstadt over there. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. So let's sort of watch the ceremonial passing of the torch as the new and the old train both come into the station at the same time. At least I hope they come into the station at the same time, otherwise we're going to look really silly. I can hear something coming. Here we go. This should be it's a freight train. Okay, well, the ceremonial passing of the torch will not happen on this day because you are going to the depot to be scrapped. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you for your years of service, my friend. Sorry about all the people we just kicked off. Yeah, now we're up to 99 people waiting to go via Ventura. Whoops. We should probably build that extra train now. Let's go with a mogul, and let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go with 4 carriages for now. And if if the third train doesn't really make a dent in those passenger numbers, we'll go up to 5. Oh, here comes the other train. This isn't the train we just built. This is the actual other train on the line. It seems he's been stuck behind the slow train for quite a while, so that's unfortunate. But here we see 2 gleaming new, or 1 gleaming new and 1 gleaming slightly less new. Okay, it's 8 years old. 1 not so gleaming, slightly new train meeting the gleaming new train. So that looks kind of cool. And are you going to make a dent in these passenger numbers? Yeah, pretty much most people got off from Boston, so there should be plenty of capacity on the train to go to Ventura. So 64, we've still left 41 people behind. That is far from ideal. You are running under capacity though, so, oh good. And of course you're going to follow him pretty much completely empty. So, that's all going well. We are starting to see a bit of a backlog of food at Orange commercial deliveries. We should probably... Why have we... Oh, because we built new Kamstadts, didn't we? We should probably sort of replace all of them to make sure they're all... What are you waiting for? Oh, you're waiting for the industrial deliveries. Ah, okay. See, I thought I'd replace some of them with... Why are you taking food on the industrial deliveries line? That should be fuel. Have we got some commercial crept into the... Yes, we've got this little bugger here upsetting the apple cart. So we'll get rid of you because you're just carrying fuel. Thank you very much. We need the food to be going over to this depot here. Now, so we put a third fuel train on this line, and look at that, the refineries immediately jumped up to meet our extra train with a wave of flammable liquids. That sounds dangerous. But yeah, certainly production has increased in line with the extra train we've put on. Why are you taking... you know what I think it is? I think they're sending fuel up here and back again because they can't fit it all on the train going straight out of the station, so they figure jump on the train early and go for a ride. The problem with that is it wastes capacity for crude oil, and it also, if the fuel's not getting delivered here, it's potential fuel going to Gainesville that's not getting delivered. So I reckon we up to a fourth train, because we are delivering fuel to Columbia, Gainesville, and Nashville with this train. So a fourth train, we could move more crude oil, we could move more fuel, we could move more processed oil. So let's just make that happen. We'll go to Baldwin, and we'll go on enough tank cars to bring it up to 105 capacity, like that, and send it out without even thinking about it. What is that? The crude oil fuel. There we go. Because look, that is a pretty profitable line for us anyway. So what are you doing? 15 of 80. Okay, I swear we used to have a hell of a lot more people from Rockford trying to go. Now a lot of people want the Minneapolis line. Well, hopefully that has put that into profit, because that one was sort of languishing for a while. That's not a passenger train. That is. What are you? 64 or 64. Okay, so these guys have really turned their fortunes around, hopefully. Look at all the people waiting in Nashville too. Okay, well, it looks like we're putting another train on that route as well. Well, it's good to be popular. So we'll chuck another mogul down, and what was that, 5 cars? I want to say 5. I want to be wrong, because it's actually only 4. So we'll chop one off, and we'll drop you on the Minneapolis line to Rockford as well. Because, yeah, wow, Minneapolis has taken off too. It's amazing what delivery of freight can do. 130 people want to go via Nashville. Yeah, but that extra train couldn't have come a moment too soon, could it? Wow, Ventura's... Suddenly we've got all these passengers. I don't know where they've all come from, but we've also got a heck of a lot of food down here. Most of it trying to go to Boston, which is good. Well, yeah, we're going to finish up today, I reckon, with a heck of a lot of upgrades, because, okay, we definitely need a few more Cumstats on this line. We'll chuck 4 more down here. And we'll send you out on Tucson deliveries, please. Off you go. Yeah, we definitely need to address this food backlog here before things get ugly. So what do we got here? We've got this old train here. He's only 7 years old. So instead of replacing him, we might look at supplementing him with a second train. So what would be a convenient depot to build that at? Probably this one down here at Orange that we haven't done anything to make pretty. So this time we'll go with the Baldwin or Mogul? What's a Baldwin cost around? 114 as opposed to 162. Oh, it's hard to beat the General, though. That's so cheap to run. Yeah, we'll go with the General, and if we want to upgrade them later, we can upgrade both of them. So 6 wagons. How many wagons does that fella have? He was just coming out of the bridge. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 6, 7, 8. We'll go 10 for this second train just to try and get ahead of ourselves. And you are on food. Food. Sinbad to Boston, please. Hopefully that doesn't cause any jam-ups, given the one platform down here. But yeah, we've certainly got our wish, and we're pumping the food out, and he should be bringing goods in here to distribute to, well, Tucson, which is frustrating because, well, the goods have come through Tucson to get here. But if it makes us money, I'm open to it. And hopefully some of the goods will be going off to Ventura and Orange on the cattle trains as well. As I said, this is the advantage of using the boxcars and having cattle instead of grain, because I mean we're running with cargo both directions. So, well, that's the fuel train, so that's a bad example. So this chappie here is heading back to Tucson with a full load of fuel. So if we ran a grain train, we wouldn't be getting anywhere near that sort of return. I mean, this guy's making $1 million a year. That's pretty damn good, all things considered. So yeah, how are we going at Boston with supplying our needs? Okay, so we could definitely stand to deliver more food. We could deliver a heck of a lot more goods, and we've got plenty of capacity for more fuel as well. What else do we need to sort of work on upgrading? We're getting a bit of plastic queuing up here. 107. It might be worth putting another train of boxcars on there. Where's the existing train? Okay, so we've got one going this way. He's pretty much at capacity as well, which is good. But we're looking for one heading back to the plastics. No, okay, so it's going to have to wait for him to get all the way back there again. That's not on. And for this one, we're going the Mogul, because that high speed, quote unquote, 75 k's an hour. Boxcar's good for 80, so that's probably going to help us out a lot. So we'll go with the maximum length train for this one as well. So I'll pop you on the, what is it, plastic and goods. Yell if you see it. Plastic goods, there it is. And obligatory watching of the departure from somewhere where we don't watch the depot doors close on our train. Yeah, so the logic here is, obviously we built the Baldwins initially because we weren't running all the way to Boston, but you know, now that we are, that is a slow engine. It's got the good pulling power, but it's also very slow. So if we put the Mogul on, we can get a quicker turnaround time on that route. He can also probably haul a little bit more, probably not much more. It's a negligible increase in power, but hopefully that'll get more plastic going to the factory, which means more goods coming out, which means more growth in our towns. And that is a nice lengthy train too, isn't it? Wish we had cabooses we could put on the back. I could probably find one in the workshop. And while we're on the subject of increasing the plastic deliveries, how are we going at the factory? Raise production or avoid downgrade in 7 months. Well, that's not ideal. Yeah, see, we're starting to get a surplus of planks over plastic. So the concern is that we'll start seeing a drop-off in logs. In fact, I think I saw a log train before. Yeah, we'll start seeing a loss in plank and log production, which will be bad because these trains are doing very well for themselves. I mean, again, 2 million, 1894, 1 million last year. It's good money, and I don't want to damage that by slacking off on the plastic deliveries. This is also why, incidentally, I don't recommend starting with goods or the machine shop because of the multiple steps and the multiple cargoes involved. It can be hard on a limited budget to actually line them up together. Now, anyone at Mesquite waiting to go to? No one wants to use the river line. I don't know why we even bothered extending it to Mesquite. We could probably turn around at Plano. No one waiting for the river line down here. It's very disappointing how little attention is being paid by these towns. Yeah, a handful of people, but I mean, they'd all fit on a couple of buses. We don't need to run a train for them. What about Fort Collins, the junction? Yeah, again, handful of people. Midland, anyone? Midland, there's a few people waiting at the bus stops, but yeah, no one at the train station. I wonder why. Yeah, it's disappointing. I was hoping that this brickworks here would go some way towards alleviating that. We've got no growth down here. We're already delivering 50% of the required bricks, so we can't even increase production here and get the town to grow because we've nearly maxed things out to begin with. So this chap here is loading up with stone again. Are you making money? Yes, you are. You're doing all right for yourself, so that's not too bad. But yeah, you know what, folks? I think we've done pretty well for this part. Yeah, look, I'm still concerned about the viability of these two new lines that we've set up because, well, while we didn't go to great expense, we built this cool bridge. Are you actually carrying anyone? 6 people. Okay, so all is not completely lost, but you will be making a significant loss. Yeah, okay, so this year we've paid, nearly 200 grand to run you, and you've made us 3 grand. So, not great. How we go at Gainesville? We've got a few people waiting there. In fact, we've got a train that's just left, so I'm assuming those people are waiting to go towards Tucson. They are. What are you waiting for? Oh, you're waiting for your opposite number coming from Austin. Well, at least this line's proving popular still. Yeah, it made a decent profit last year, so that's something. Yeah, so the next step I'm considering is diverting this quarry over to this brickworks here if we need to, but so far it seems to be humming along fine. But yeah, so we've accomplished a few things. We've built a couple of new lines. It remains to be seen if they're actually going to pay for themselves or not. But our existing lines are proving very popular, so hopefully as we start expanding things, that will only prove to be more popular, which means more profit, which means building more trains, which means making more profit, which means building more trains, which means making more... I'm getting confused. Now, what are you waiting for? You are... Oh, of course, you're heading on a completely empty trip to Boston because of the way the depot faces, so that's fair enough. I was wondering why you had a capacity for cattle. But yeah, look, next week, what are we going to do? We're probably going to keep expanding into this part of the map here. We've got Cape Coral down here, we've got Cincinnati, we've got Lakewood. I really want to extend Austin down to either Plano or Moreno Valley. I mean, he could go through Plano and then up to Lakewood. He could go straight to Cincinnati. He could go through Moreno Valley to Cape Coral. I'm really not sure. Also, this train that terminates at Plano at the moment, I will run that out here somewhere eventually to these towns up here. Because my goal is to have every Well, my goal was originally to have every town on the map connected up by sort of 1900, so we could spend the next sort of 100 years refining our network and adding freight to it. But we've sort of gotten bogged down in the making money side of things by putting in all these freight trains, and we've got a nice amount of goods popping up here. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, so we'll definitely keep expanding southwards and keep the network growing. And we've got so many industries we can connect up as well that we're not going to be short of things to do for a while yet. But until then, this has been Transport Fever. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed making it. I've been T-Nick. See you all next week. Later days.